Rakdos has returned with a Spirit Reaper build guide update. Standard monolith progression felt effortless on the Spirit Reaper. With its high mobility, damage mitigation, and absurd life leech, dying on this build in the regular monolith is almost impossible. We dash from pack to pack, casting Spirit Plague and keeping Death Seal up as often as possible. Only stopping to channel our Wandering Spirits for incredibly tanky rare enemies or for bosses. And the bigger the boss, the faster our damage ramps up and the more spirits can touch our enemy at the same time. As this is my first character, I can't tell if my damage is high for my level, but what I can say is that it feels very high for my level, as certain bosses I don't even need to use all of my abilities on, which is absolutely crazy considering how much Death Seal contributes to our overall damage. Although this build was doing great against bosses by this point, it really shined in the arena and in arena monolith nodes. Having an endless wave of enemies means endless life to leech and endless bodies for your Spirit Plague to spread to. I found that fighting Orobus in the level 90 monolith was no more challenging than the previous monoliths, and our build could pretty much face tank and leech through all of his abilities. My best advice for bossing with this build would be to really learn what you can leech through and what you can't, because standing still and continuing to channel your Wandering Spirits will drastically improve how fast you can kill the bosses. Certain attacks look very scary and have very telegraphed wind-ups, but hold your ground, stand still, try to leech through it. This may cause you to die a couple times, but it's better to know what you can leech through to improve the speed of your fights, as you don't want to really be interrupting your channeling to dodge attacks that you don't need to. The time had finally come to test our build against the final boss of the level 90 monolith timeline. Not knowing what we can and can't face tank yet in this fight causes it to go much more slowly as we fight very passively, trying not to get hit.
The void consumes all. My magic has no equal. Perish.
If you feel as though you don't have enough time to stand still and channel in a fight, it is very important that you make sure you keep your Spirit Plague on the enemy at all times. This is very fast and easy, and if you let this fall off for too long, you'll lose a lot of free damage.
The void consumes all. Burn, wretches. Burn, wretches. My magic has no equal. Perish. Why do you run? It is hopeless. Burn, wretches. The void consumes all. Burn, wretches.
The husk of Elder Gaspar falls without knocking us out of our Reaper form even a single time. time.
My magic has no equal. Perish. Is this like that?
Feeling confident and looking for some gear upgrades, we attempted the Temporal Sanctum Tier 3 for the first time.
No matter. They cannot reach me.
Here in this place, for the first time since my build really came online, did I actually notice taking damage. Some of the enemies in here were actually able to knock me out of Reaper form if I wasn't careful. The Void Nightmares in the Ruined era are particularly dangerous. Believing death impossible, we walk fearlessly into the boss room. By this point, we were vaguely familiar with this boss's mechanics, having beaten her on Tier 1 and Tier 2 of the Temporal Sanctum. However, we were not prepared for the sheer amount of damage that all of her abilities do. You see us there get knocked straight out of Reaper form by the Void Fence. We foolishly believe that our death was due to panicking at the last moment, and try it again, having a better idea of the damage.
Escape is impossible. The future cannot be denied.
Here, we lose sight of the third tower she summons up in the north, and it causes us problems when we switch over to the Ruined era.
Escape is impossible.
We get knocked out of Reaper form, panic, and die. We try her for a third time, determined to beat her, as this is the first amount of resistance that we have really encountered so far in the game. We have a super rough start, as we lose Reaper form almost immediately, and are forced to play very, very defensive for her first shift. Reaper form comes off cooldown, but we're saving it, just in case we get into trouble, and right here, we end up not being fast enough to get out of her one-shot area of effect cone. Reaper form saves our life, as we can instantly switch into it and tank the hit. This does, however, mean that we are vulnerable again for another 20 seconds before we can get the form back. We get Reaper form back just in time to save us yet again, as we use Death Seal to lock us at 21 HP, and we catch up on our damage big time here in this moment, just to illustrate really how much damage we can do if we are left alone to channel. And here we make another mistake. If you can't kill all of the towers before you have to switch into the Ruined era, I highly recommend just switching the era back and killing them, instead of trying to stay in the Ruined era and tank all of the towers and her attacks. That is what I opted to do, though, and somehow it worked out here.
Escape is impossible.
And here, our reflexes are just slow, and we don't reap out of the cone in time, even though it was up. And because we don't have Reaper form, we're vulnerable again.
Escape is impossible.
And this leads to our imminent death.
The future
it became clear that we had hit a roadblock. This is expected, especially in action RPGs, especially when you're making your own build, and even more especially for your very first build. Definitely expect to, at some point, run into some sort of barrier or roadblock in the game that tells you, hey, what you've been doing so far has worked, but the content now is going to require you to be a little bit more efficient, a little bit stronger, a little bit healthier, so on and so forth. This is a great thing to recognize because it presents you with an opportunity to learn more about the game and learn more about your character, and to break through that barrier is a wonderful, wonderful feeling of accomplishment. We went on a crafting spree. We attained almost 400 more max life, did some changes to our passive tree to allow us to be a little bit more durable, and even gained a tiny bit of damage throughout all of these efficiency changes.
This is a mercy.
After that, we jumped right back in to finish the other level 90 monoliths before we would return to the temporal sanctum.
Rise, my fallen champions. Aid me. This is a mercy. Shatter. Do not stand in my way.
Compared to Temporal Sanctum level 3, the rest of the level 90 monoliths and their end bosses were an absolute joke.
Come, sons of Artor, aid me.
Here we illustrate a strength of Wandering Spirits that may not be immediately obvious. We can channel truly forever. Most other channeling things lock out your mana regen during the actual channeling, so you will eventually have to stop, whereas we don't. And to make it even more powerful, casting Death Seal while you are channeling will not interrupt it. So your spirits will continuously reveal, and you won't have to re-summon them.
I did what I must to protect my people.
This blessing upgrade is huge for our character in particular. Endurance threshold, as we mentioned in the video before, is very good if you can get it to around 33 to 35%, then the entire time your Death Seal is active, you will be taking drastically reduced damage due to your endurance. We can now deal about 40% of Oribis's life before they use their first move. I felt much more powerful at this point and took on the Temporal Sanctum yet again. I had to know if I could beat her, and I was dying to get revenge for killing me.
Cannot be denied. Escape is impossible. Maggot.
All right. Nice, smooth attempt so far. Dodging everything pretty good. I'm just gonna channel here and oh no, oh god, 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 oh. All right, okay, we're back in control. We got our life back. We'll turn on the death seal. Keep walking around. We'll dodge that. Yep. Start channeling. Okay, here's the towers. Got that tower. Got this tower. Oh man, we're not gonna get them all in time. Oh my gosh, these towers. Okay, so one did die from the damage over time, and we're just gonna set up right here. Try to stack up all the pools. Dodge that. Okay, there we go. Stack up. This fence. Oh my gosh, this fence. Okay, we can just channel. We're able to tank this stuff. That's why we got more tanky. Okay, go ahead and do your big bomb. Doesn't look like we're gonna die. We did manage to kill that last tower up there. That's very good. The lightning grenade cannot kill us. Just keep leeching. Oh geez, spawned right on top of some damage over time. We did a good job at stacking the pools at least. We kind of can't go to the north area of the arena. Okay, this is the perfect spacing. You just got to kind of watch the floor. Okay, there we go. Ooh, we got some good damage in. Dodge out. Good damage in. Dodge out. Dodge that. Easy. Go ahead. Get our damage in. She is almost at 25%. Whew, that was a little close. Stack up the pools. I think we got this. I think we got this time. No real need to beat the whole monolith, I don't think. Ooh, we got towers. How did we get towers? Where did the towers come from? Oh, geez, we have every single tower up. Our tankiness, though, we lost a reperform. Lost a reperform. We got to run. Ooh, the damage. Oh, we got to run out. Ah. I have nothing. So, maybe we did need to finish the monolith. Well, we were going to do it anyway, so might as well do it and get our revenge afterwards, I thought. We finish the third and final level 90 monolith and get to its final boss.
Eternal flame. Embrace the flame. Eternal flame. Burn to ashes.
With 3 enemies to leech from, and their damage not seeming to be incredible, I bet we could have held still and channeled this entire fight. But with this being the first time I fought these guys, I wanted to dodge out of the way of everything, just to be sure.
Be engulfed. You will be snuffed out. Embrace the strongest, burn the brightest. How my soul you burns.
Feel my wrath.
No, the flame is fading.
A second endurance blessing. This one reducing the amount of damage that we take when we are at or below our endurance threshold. Incredible for our build. This will ensure that while we have Death Seal active, we are even tankier than we are at full HP. The time for vengeance has come. We also stack the odds in our favor even more heavily by ramping up our ward to as high as it can go before starting the fight. This will let our first Death Seal tear through necrotic resistance at a higher rate.
Epoch, I will have it. Escape is impossible. The future cannot be denied.
With this fight, you can't make too many mistakes, and here I make 2 back to back. First, I dash in the incorrect direction. If I would have dashed forward to the north past her, I would not have lost my Reaper form. Second, I stand still and channel as she's coming in to the new era. I finally realize at this point that this fight would take a lot more progression to outgear. And if I'm going to win, I need to master the mechanics. In every single one of these attempts, I've made a lot of mistakes, and upon rewatching them, they are blindingly obvious. But this fight is pretty fast-paced, and it can definitely make you panic in the moment. During this, my final attempt, I am calm, patient, and very methodical about where I'm at any given point in the map, what the enemy is doing, and what I am supposed to do next in response. We have finally learned that when she sets up the death cone, that dashing at her is the safest option. Here I try something new and risky where I try to stack the degens. It does end up working, but I take way too much damage for it and don't recommend trying that, as they don't take up too much space in the arena.
The future cannot be denied.
Because I wasn't able to take down all of her towers in the previous phase, I should be looking for an opportunity here to switch the eras even before she starts her massive explosion attack. We can tank through a lot of her damage here, and she sets up her death cone, the perfect time to switch eras.
Escape is impossible.
We jump back into Reaper form and turn on our Death Seal for some heavy damage. Oh god, not again! This is no time to craft!
Escape is impossible. The future cannot be denied.
Here we have Balls of Steel. The damage was just too juicy to move. So freaking close. Don't you do this to me.
It's impossible.
Done. Finished. Good night. You lose. We win. And that's what it feels like to break through the barrier. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, peace, peace.